Karl Widerquist is with us once again. He's an economist and a professor of philosophy at Georgetown University here in Qatar. Thanks for your time once again. React to this latest news. China now announcing tariffs of 125%. And is this a widening of the trade war, as Katrina was just alluding to?
Well, it's a retaliatory measure. And for the most part, I think China is being very strategic about this, saying this is our last hike, no matter what he does, is no matter what Trump does, is a way of signaling a little bit of stability to their own internal markets. And targeting entertainment, I think, is wise on that part because that's not going to disrupt any of their supply chains. Well, the tariffs that Trump is doing on the rest of the world are going to disrupt all sorts of U.S. supply chains that are going to hurt our own manufacturers directly, and indirectly it's going to hurt everybody with higher prices. But entertainment, China can live without American entertainment, but they're also targeting some basic commodities such as our agricultural exports to China and our crude oil exports to China. Those will disrupt their supply chains, so they're not easily replaceable. Another one they're doing is very strategic. They're targeting aircraft and aircraft parts. That is the United States' one big manufacturing export industry where the United States is still a leader. It's been a leader in aircraft manufacturing for 120 years. And they're targeting that. That's going to hurt them. That is going to disrupt their supply chains and stuff, but it will hurt the U.S. more because it gives them a very powerful incentive then in the future. And Trump has already, by starting this war, has given them a powerful reason to move to Airbus. Right. Because the EU is not going to try to bully them. They're never going to try to bully them the way the United States does. Even if Trump says, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again, they don't know that the United States won't do it again. Right. They have a powerful incentive to stop buying Boeing and start buying Airbus for the rest of this time. So in the short run, yeah, that's going to hurt China, but in the long run, they can just switch to Airbus. So it's really this whole thing is the good news here is not for China or the U.S. It's for Airbus.
Look, I mean, Karl, is the damage done, though, right? Because now we've heard this announcement, China raising tariffs to 125%, the U.S.'s tariffs on China are 145%. Does it matter what the numbers are at this point? At the end of the day, for the consumer, is the consumer the one that's hurt by this, no matter what the number is?
Well, the consumers hurt an awful lot more by 125% than they are by 25%. At 125%, for a lot of commodities, that is as good as an embargo. That will stop trade in some commodities. It's maybe unpredictable which ones it will stop, but it will stop trade in some commodities. So whereas at a 10%, you're like, okay, well, we're all going to pay a little more. But at 125%, you're looking at we just might not be able to get this, and how can we replace this in such a short order? And when you say the damage is done, even if they reverse this and he claws back to a 25 or 10% tariff, the uncertainty is there. It's created this global uncertainty, and that's going to change everybody's behavior throughout the world economy in a way that's likely to cause higher prices and lower economic activity at the same time.
All right, we'll leave it there. Karl Widerquist, thank you so much for your analysis.